Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I wanted to share my wardrobe essentials that have really stood the test of time. And if these pieces are missing from your own wardrobe, which of them would I say have been invaluable over the years? So my first wardrobe essential would definitely be one great pair of heels. I got these probably about 18 years ago and they are still just about going strong. So I bought these from Gucci and I'd imagine they cost me about 250, 300 pounds. As you can see, they are ridiculously high, which didn't stop me wearing them to all manner of different going out events. Now these heels are actually extra special for me because I was wearing them on my first date with my husband 17 and a half years ago. So yeah, they are a special pair of shoes for me for many different reasons, but also I think spending a little bit more has seen me in good stead because they've lasted for so long. If you've watched my channel for a while, you'll know I'm not exactly one for having absolutely tons of designers. I don't think you need to do that, and I wouldn't like to either, but it's interesting to see that the investment pieces I have bought previously are still in my wardrobe today. Now when it comes to sunglasses, I was a bit undecided about which pair to show, but in actual fact, the pair that I come back to time and time again, which in no way, shape or form were the most expensive, was this pair that I got from Le Specs. And my reason being is because I absolutely love the shape. I think they've got that spot on. Now if you haven't heard of Le Specs, they are a really on-trend but very affordable sunglasses brand. The majority of the time I tend to prefer the tortoiseshell frame rather than black. That's not to say I don't have some black ones in my collection, because I do, but I think against my skin tone and my hair color, the tortoiseshell is a little bit softer. I personally wouldn't spend investment type prices on the very super on trend sunglasses that you're only going to wear for this season or possibly next season. I do think if you're going to spend investment kind of money, you want it to last you. I would say that with all of my wardrobe essentials actually. Don't go for the super on trend look for that season, because it more than likely will date really quickly. Go for something that's relatively classic, beautiful quality, and you could see yourself wearing it in 10 years time. Then I think you know you've made a good purchase. It is one of those items we do tend to spend a little bit more on, but I really think having a beautiful watch in your collection is absolutely part of my wardrobe essentials. I'm too paranoid to wear this one on a day-to-day basis in case I lose it or I break it. So in the daytime, I would probably wear my Nordgreen watch. So when we first moved back to Nottingham after living in London for years, I was walking in town one day and went past this antique jeweller's, and in the window was this watch. And I remember it literally stopped me in my tracks, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It had an insane price tag on it, so I knew I was never going to buy it. So I rambled off to David about this watch that I'd seen, and on Christmas morning I received this as a present, and inside was the watch that I had been waffling on about. I couldn't believe he'd bought it for me. I was shocked and absolutely over the moon, so much so that I just burst into tears. So as you can see, it's a really old design where they've got the cotton strap that goes around your wrist, and then you've got all the diamonds around the face of the watch there. I did wear this on our wedding day as my something old, so again, lots of very lovely memories from that. Next up, and probably very apt at the moment as we're all staying at home and staying safe and healthy, would be some beautiful loungewear. Now I'm a huge fan of loungewear. I do have an ever-growing collection, but when I was looking through which pieces I've had the longest and which I probably wear the most, it would definitely be these cotton pieces I have here. So one of which is designer. It came from Paul Smith. It's just a very plain grey bun sweater. I live in this. I wear it an awful lot. It is ridiculously comfy, and I could highly recommend you spending a few more pennies on a beautiful loungewear sweater. And I tend to pair it with this pair of joggers that I got from Whistles. Now I probably bought those at least 10 years ago, so they really have lasted well, and I still love them just as much today as I did when I bought them. But when I saw them with this harem jogger shape and that sort of nips in around the ankle, I knew the fit was exactly what I was looking for. Having an elastic waistband on the trouser portion is the comfiest option to go for. But I do think the two of those together with the two contrasting different grey marls works really nicely and feels very chic at the same time. So I will link in the description below some of my favourite loungewear that I've seen recently, because obviously both of these are quite old. So my next wardrobe staple would have to be my Massimo Dutti blazer. So I actually got this one 15 years ago, and the reason I know it was 15 years is because I actually wore it to the civil ceremony of our wedding. So again, lots of special meaning to it. So I spent about £200 on this blazer, which is not ridiculous, but it's not cheap either. But I would say it looks almost as good today as the day I bought it, which is a brilliant sign of a brand's quality. Now the label says it's just cotton and a little bit of elastin in there, but in all honesty it feels like there's some element of silk. It's a really beautiful fabric. I've actually just bought a new cream blazer very similar to this one from Arket. It's not arrived yet, but I'll show you as soon as it does. And my reason being, even though I still love this blazer and it's definitely staying in my wardrobe, possibly in storage for a little while, but I can't get rid of it. At the moment, I really love quite masculine looking blazers, and it is probably one of the more on-trend looks. So I've already mentioned my blazers, but I do tend to see jackets and also wool coats as part of my wardrobe essentials, pieces that I don't mind spending a little bit more money on. Now, when I was looking through my wardrobe to see which were the pieces I've had the longest, I came across this coat, which I must have had since I was about 19, I think. Now, it goes down to about my calf length, and it's made from wool, and it came from Miu Miu. So I probably spent about £500 for it at the time. As you can probably see, it's lost all its shape since I stupidly stuck it in the washing machine. So that was the oldest piece that's lasted the longest in my wardrobe, and not being detrimental to Miu Miu because the quality was gorgeous, it's my fault because I stuck it in the washing machine. So on to the next oldest after that one would be this one that I got from Reiss. The reason I've picked out this one is because the tone of this is perfect as an investment piece, because it's not going to date, it's not going to go out of fashion. When you're choosing your own wardrobe essentials and investment pieces, try and look really closely at the quality of that item. It doesn't necessarily equate that spending more is going to get you better quality. Look at the darts, look at the stitching, what have they used for the lining, what the pockets like, look at the seams both on the inside and on the outside, and it will be all those elements added together that can give you the knowledge to make an informed decision whether it's worth your hard-earned pennies or not. When it comes to jackets in my wardrobe, the one I've had the longest but also has been around for the longest is this leather jacket that was my mom's, and she handed it down to me. So it's very much a vintage jacket with lots of lovely memories. But I would say having a beautiful leather jacket in your collection is really probably one of my wardrobe essentials. You've probably seen on Instagram, I style this an awful lot in many different ways, and I do find it invaluable. So in the description box below, I'm going to put my favorites I found both from the high street and with the designers. So there's a few different price points there for you to choose from. Onto handbags, and I would say my favorite would be my Saint Laurent Betty bag. Now obviously, being Saint Laurent, this wasn't cheap, but it isn't my most expensive handbag either. The key to it being a wardrobe essential rather than just a throwaway piece is going for a structured handbag rather than anything too slouchy. I've got a couple of those types of bags, but it's always the structured handbags that I think stand the test of time. They always look chic, they always look elegant, and I know it can just be that finishing touch to any of my outfits. And this handbag for me is the perfect shape. I like the fact that I can wear it crossbody, but it also looks elegant and chic if I just wear it on one shoulder. Size wise, I went for the medium, and it's big enough that I can get all the essentials in there. Now in no way, shape or form am I saying that you have to go with a designer handbag to look chic, because I don't agree with that. I think there are loads of brilliant options with the high street and also with the independent designers. All I would say is research the quality. So someone like Paris, for instance, is a really nice mid-range price when it comes to handbags, but but the quality of that bag looks like it could be Saint Laurent type of level. So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to spend high-end designer prices to get high-end quality. But another thing you can do if designer handbags are a little bit out of your price range is keep an eye on websites like The Real Real, Vestiaire Collective. There's quite a few of them, and I'll put links in the description below. Now, I was going to call this a statement dress, but it's actually a jumpsuit that looks like a dress. I have had this in my wardrobe for, I think it's probably about 12 years. We were spending a month in Los Angeles when my husband was working over there, and I had Albert and Fred both being quite little. I think they were 2 and 3 at the time. And we went down Rodeo Drive, as you do as tourists, spotted BCBG had a big sale on, and I thought, well, let's just have a look. And I fell in love with everything in there, but also the brand as a whole. When it comes to finding that perfect dress, that statement dress you're missing from your wardrobe, BCBG would be one website that I will always have a look at, and invariably they always have something that I want. So I did get this in the sale, but even in the sale I think I still paid about £300, but because it was down from 600, I felt like I was getting a bargain. Again, when it comes to wardrobe essentials or investment pieces and you're spending a bit more money, try and go for these classic tones that you know aren't going to date. So hopefully you've enjoyed having a look at all my wardrobe essentials and my investment pieces that have quite literally been in my wardrobe for years. Although with my wardrobe essentials and my investment pieces I have spent more money, you absolutely don't have to go designer. Please don't think you have to do that at all. It's just a matter of having a really good search through, looking at all the fabric content and double checking that you're getting value for money. And that's what it all comes down to, really. Try and search for the highest quality you can find within your own budget. It'd be lovely to hear from you in the comments section. One, what you thought to my wardrobe essentials, but also maybe you've got some tips with your own and you could share with the other subscribers. It's always really lovely to hear from you. And don't forget, you can find me on Instagram at Fashion and Style Edit. And if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, that would be lovely too. And make sure you press the little bell button, which will just send you an email each time I upload a new video. I will be back in a couple of days with another fashion video for you, so hopefully I shall see you then. Take care.